From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Save more on Parker House, Ashley, and Coaster. Furniture and Mattress 86, across from the Churn Creek Post Office on Merchant Street, Reading.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. Active day. You know, we saw snow in the higher elevations. We saw showers. We saw thunderstorms. We saw chain requirements, the works. So starting off with the snow, did get a photo coming in from Roger Thompson out in Portola at just under 5,000 feet. 8 inches of fresh snow. Absolutely gorgeous shot there. This is hail that we saw in Anderson this afternoon, sent to us by Rosie. Now, this was on Facebook that she shared. I had mentioned that there was a special weather statement for a thunderstorm that did move through the Anderson area. And of course, there was another one to the south shortly after that moved through Glenn and Butte counties, bringing some heavy rainfall, and not to mention, of course, some of that hail and lightning as well. So just want to remind you that you can share your photos from the free Weather NorCal app, and we'll share them right here on the weather programs here as we get those photos coming in. Taking a look at some of those rainfall totals over the last 48 hours, the last 2 days, saw over an inch in some parts of the valley. This number here should probably be a bit higher, especially that rain that did pass on through, but the numbers hadn't updated just yet. 1.23 in Bernie, and look at that, over 3 inches for both Crescent City and Klamath, 2.74 in Trinidad, and just under 2 inches out in Eureka. We'll take it. We got more rainfall on the way and more snow too. Off and on rain and snow through early next week with low snow levels leading to travel delays. And I think the worst travel conditions will be tonight and into tomorrow morning. Off and on gusty winds with that rain as well, but we do have a short break from this wet weather by Tuesday before more wet weather comes in after that for the middle and latter part of next week. Now, a lot to dive into, but before we get into that, here's your Krueger's Quick Cast for your Thursday, March 13th. Let's start off with the full lunar eclipse. It's going on tonight. Now, the reason I haven't really been talking about it is because of the overcast skies that we've been expecting, but there actually may be enough breaks in the clouds where some of us may be able to see parts of the eclipse, which starts, the shadow goes into the shadow just before 9 o'clock this morning. But really the main event will start at about 11:30 tonight. Right around midnight is when it's the max eclipse, and then right around 12:31 tomorrow morning, it will start getting out of that eclipse here. So that's when it is. So we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. And again, if you're lucky, you may be able to kind of see some breaks in the clouds where you'll be able to see it. But in the meantime, here's what we have for tonight. Temperatures mid to upper 30s as we go into tomorrow morning. Teens and 20s for the higher elevations, and those mid to upper 30s for the coast. It's going to be a cold night tonight. We've got some colder air moving in on top of the fact that cold air has already moved in, but some reinforcing colder air moving in. We could see a mix out towards the Reading area in particular, and maybe even Red Bluff, but to the south of that, most likely in the form of rain. Scattered snow flurries for the rest of us. Of course, for the coast, though, you are going to be looking at those showers here for tomorrow morning. So this is the main source of moisture from a couple of days ago that's moved off to the east. We've got another batch of moisture right here. That's what's moving in, and another shot of some colder air coming in behind that as well. So let's take a look at Futurecast for at least tomorrow. So there you can see as we go into tonight, yeah, things are kind of starting to break apart, but the next round of rain comes in. Tomorrow morning, heavy rainfall in the valley, but you see that a little bit of a mix near the Reading area. That snow is really hugging the valley here. So, you know, down to about 500 to 1,000 feet here through the morning hours. There's 9 a.m. You see that mix? It's getting pretty aggressive, even making its way down towards the Anderson, Cottonwood area, maybe even as far south as Red Bluff, and even at points of time during the morning, we could be looking at all snow. There's the potential of all snow from Reading down to about Anderson as well. Certainly something worth watching. That could mean even some minor light accumulation. But again, I think most of it will be in the foothills and in the higher elevations. And by the way, heavy rainfall for the rest of you that aren't seeing snow, and some heavier rainfall along the coast with maybe the potential for thunderstorms. That is midday for tomorrow. Then we go through the afternoon. It turns over to scattered showers, maybe even some isolated thunderstorms, especially for the coast, especially for Trinity County, and maybe even the valley. Snow levels at this point between 2 and 3,000 feet. So yeah, we've got the heavier rain and snow in the morning, turning over to scattered showers and snow by the afternoon. The winds for tonight, they're not that much of an issue, but by tomorrow morning, there it is. Look at that. We've got gusts 30 over 40 miles per hour along the coast, gusty winds for the valley, and of course those gusty winds here out towards Siskiyou County as well. Then we take you into your Friday 5 p.m. The winds do start to die down, but they may pick back up again. It's that off and on wind that I was talking about in the headlines here. All right, let's take a look at your forecast for your Friday. Temperature is mainly in the upper 40s to about 50 in the valley, and we've got those 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. Mainly 30s, really. It's 20s, 24 degrees for Lassen Park. Otherwise in the 30s elsewhere, and then upper 40s to low 50s along the coast. All right, so we take a look at the 7-day forecast. Off and on rain will continue here for the valley. Tuesday, a break. Now, I've got mostly cloudy skies here for Wednesday, Thursday. We could see a few showers here and there, but overall, I'd say the wet weather pattern is really the strongest this week and even into Monday. And even though we do have a chance for some showers through a good portion of next week, it doesn't look like it's going to be much. They look like very weak systems and they don't have a lot of moisture to work with here. But we could be looking at, of course, more of that rain, off and on rain here for the coast, inland, and for Trinity County all the way through Monday. And then I think better chances for some of that rain for the inland areas of the coast and maybe even out towards Trinity County as well for the middle and latter part of next week. And for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains, snow levels on average around 3,000 feet, give or take, with that break on Tuesday. And then mostly cloudy skies, maybe a shower or two by Wednesday and Thursday. All right, that's a look at Krueger's QuickCast. I do want to remind you there's a free Weather NorCal app. Now, this is a great way for you to track the storms. You know, if you are seeing the thunderstorm approaching your area, all you got to do is open up the app. It'll show you where the storm is. It'll also project an hour in advance. On top of that, what you can expect an hour as the storm system begins to approach. You can take a look at the latest video forecast, like the one that you're watching now. You can look at the latest road conditions, the works. So check it out. Just search for Weather NorCal in your app store and download it for free today. All right, so again, we've got the next storm system right here. This batch of clouds, plenty of moisture to work with. That's what's going to bring us the heavy rainfall and the heavy snow. Now, the Storm Prediction Center is calling for thunderstorms west of the valley, but I do think we could once again see thunderstorms here for tomorrow afternoon, even for parts of the valley as well. So that area of green should probably be included here for the valley as well. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Now, we're going to kind of break it down between two different forecast models to compare you through tomorrow. All right, so let's take a look at our in-house forecast model. And you can see fairly dry here for tonight. Hopefully, you'll be able to see the eclipse with some of the breaks in the clouds. By 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're beginning to see that snow pretty heavy, especially north and west of the valley. We're beginning to see some light showers for the valley, including Redding. Redding still in the form of rain, everyone else in the form of rain in the valley as well, and then there you can see the rain along the coast. Now, by about 6 o'clock in the morning, you have heavy rainfall here in the valley, heavy rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms for the coast, and snow between 500 and 1,000 feet. You see we got a bit of a mix here that is approaching the Redding area, but otherwise heavy snow in the higher elevations. Keep in mind, this is also going to mean that you're going to most likely be dealing with chain requirements on I-5 North near Mount Shasta, maybe even a closure. And basically west and east of I-5, there are going to be chain requirements as well. Even on Highway 299 West, around Buckhorn Summit, Oregon Mountain, Berry Summit as well, Highway 36 West as well. But you see this 9 a.m. tomorrow morning? Look how aggressive that snow is. It's not out of the question for parts of Redding, Anderson, Cottonwood, maybe even Red Bluff, especially to the north, to maybe see all snow for a short period of time. Now, if that happens, we can't rule out the potential for maybe some minor and light accumulation on some of the grassy areas. Could get interesting here for tomorrow morning. By midday, most of that starts to kind of shift northward. We're starting to see the snow levels begin to rise back up to about 1,000 to 2,000 feet by midday. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to stop it at noon for tomorrow. We're now going to take a look at what's known as the HRRR forecast model. Now, this is just taking a look at a different perspective and a different forecast model and what we are looking at as we start Friday morning at 3 a.m. Same situation that we were looking at earlier. The snow is still mainly above the valley at this point, but places like Hayfork, Weirville, you're seeing that heavy snow. Now, let's take you into about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. You see how that snow is beginning to get closer to Anderson, Cottonwood, even getting pretty close to Red Bluff as well. By the way, look at Paradise. Paradise will probably be looking at snow tomorrow morning as well as Magalia as well, and the city of Shasta Lake. So at this point, we could be looking at a mix, and between the hours of, say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, look at this, the potential of all snow. This is from basically Redding, city of Shasta Lake, all the way down to possibly around the Red Bluff area as well. This could mean the potential for some minor accumulation on some of the grassy areas. 1, 2 inches possibly. It's not out of the question. But again, it depends on which forecast model you look at, because the in-house forecast model, not nearly as aggressive as this one. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we've got a strong south wind. A lot of times that can help to kind of filter out some of that colder air, and as a result, we tend to not see that snow. However, one of the things that may allow us to see that snow is sometimes if the precipitation is heavy enough, the snow is coming down really heavy, sometimes it doesn't have time to melt before it reaches the surface, and as a result, you see snow. So that could also be what we're looking at here, because you're seeing a lot of the darker blues indicating that heavier snow. So it could be coming down fairly heavily, but still looking at the warmer grass, looking at the warmer surface. So it'll be harder for that snow to accumulate, but we could eventually, if it's hard enough and the snow is coming down fast enough, we may see some minor accumulation for a short period of time. Now, as we go into the midday, let's take you into about midday, right? We're still seeing some of that snow around the city of Shasta Lake, but the rain now mainly for the rest of us, and of course, around the surrounding foothills and in the mountains. Even Paradise beginning to kind of get out of that more in the form of a mix. All right, let's take you back to our in-house model as we take you through the rest of the afternoon on Friday. So there it is, Friday, 4 p.m., scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. We could see some thunderstorms here along the coast, and we've got snow off in the higher elevations between 1,000 and 2,000 feet. By Friday afternoon, Friday evening, between 2,000 and 3,000 feet with those snow levels, and looking at those scattered snow flurries. So the worst road conditions will be tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon, we should see improving conditions. Still a chance for showers and thunderstorms as we go into tomorrow evening, even for the valley, not to mention along the coast as well. And then taking you into your Saturday. We still have some snow flurries through the night, even into early Saturday morning, but you'll notice we actually have a bit of a break Saturday morning. But by Saturday afternoon, here's midday, most of it's to the north and west, so the first half of the day could be dry for many of us. Then by the afternoon, it's kind of favoring the north. 5 o'clock, we're seeing the rain around Redding, northward, the snow between 2,500, 3,500 feet, but not as much down to the south. So you could make it through a good portion of the day for Red Bluff, Corning, and Chico on Saturday without even seeing a drop of rain. But then by Saturday evening, Saturday night, some of those showers may make their way into the valley, and then we'll be looking at more activity coming into your Sunday. In fact, let's take a look at the longer range longer range forecast model that is. There you can see Sunday, another round of possibly some heavy rainfall, more rain coming into your Monday, and snow in the higher elevations, but we finally get that bit of a break here by Tuesday. But look it off over here. That could possibly be here sometime around Wednesday. Still trying to figure out the timing on this one. Forecast model's having a hard time with that one. And then we've got this one coming in possibly toward the end of next week. So not as wet for next week, but still have the potential for some of that rain. All right, so through 11 o'clock Saturday, we could be picking up a little over a half an inch for the valley, probably an inch to maybe even close to 2 inches out along the coast. Let's take a look at the amount of snow that we could possibly see, and these are my estimates through Saturday night. I think, and again, it's not going to be what we've seen today, but mainly what it's going to be is what we see late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and even through portions of the day tomorrow. We could see anywhere from 8 to even 12 inches of snow, believe it or not, for Mount Shasta City. I think we could also see a little bit less, though, off to the east here, but bottom line, most of these numbers that you see here, most of that accumulation will be early tomorrow morning and then going into the noon hour. But I have included, at least for the Redding area, less than an inch. We could see a trace. We could see some minor accumulations in the valley, especially around Redding, and of course north of that, and maybe even south of that around Cottonwood, Anderson. It's not out of the question. But this is not going to be a snowmageddon type of event for the valley. But yeah, I mean, snowflakes are not going to be out of the question. So tonight, it's mainly to the east that we've got the issues here, even midnight tonight. But by tomorrow morning, now it's beginning to move in. The darker blue, that's the heavier snow. So you can see that very close to the valley. And of course, this is when we could be looking at the potential for I-5 closure near Mount Shasta and Weed, Highway 89. Basically, north, east, and west of I-5, or north of Redding on I-5, right? That's where we're seeing the potential for chain requirements anywhere you go in the mountains tomorrow morning. By midday, we're still seeing some snow out there, but conditions will start to improve as we take you through the afternoon on Friday. Taking a look at the wind gusts, they are going to be very strong along the coast for tomorrow morning for Siskiyou County. Also some gusty south winds. And again, it's this south wind that could possibly prevent us from seeing those snowflakes as we go into Friday morning. But again, one of the other factors that we have to take into account is how heavy that snow will be. If it's heavy enough for a long enough period of time, that could make its way all the way down to the surface. But a lot of times when we have that south wind, that prevents the snow from forming in the valley. So again, we have a few things that we have to kind of iron out here, even as we go into tomorrow morning. So it's going to be one of those like, you wait and see what happens as we do go into tomorrow. But again, that potential is out there. Saturday morning, the winds aren't all that bad, but by Saturday afternoon, the winds begin to pick it back up again. So it's that off and on wind I was talking about. Now, the cooler than normal conditions, they're sticking around. Take a look at the 10-day trend for Redding. Now, eventually, finally, not this upcoming weekend, but maybe by the end of next week, into that next weekend, we can at least get closer to normal for this time of the year. But we're going to stay below normal through the rest of this week, this weekend, and through most of next week as well. Those wave heights, boy, I tell you, they are staying fairly high here through the day on Friday. In fact, they're probably going to increase through the day on Friday. A slight drop as we take you into your Saturday. But with that all being said, taking a look at your marine forecast for tomorrow morning, southwest winds at about 25 to 30 knots. So some very strong winds, high waves. There is a gale warning for tonight into tomorrow morning. So we'll see if that gets extended into the afternoon, but just be aware of that if you need to be on that small boat. Once again, tonight, temperatures mid to upper 30s for the valley. So when you start getting into that 35, 34 degree mark, that's when you can start seeing that potential for snow. So you see out towards Dunsmuir, 31, 35 for Redding, Cottonwood, 36, Red Bluff, 38. We're getting borderline there, aren't we? And of course, in the 20s, 30s, for mainly 20s really for the higher elevations, Hoopa and Willow Creek in the low to mid 30s, and those mid to upper 30s out along the coast. All right, so here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast for your Friday. I've got snow levels on average around 1,000 feet, could get locally lower. Hayfork, Weaverville, I think you're going to see some snow here for tomorrow. We take you out to the north coast, out towards Rio Dell, about 48, Garberville, about 51. You know, places like Garberville, we take you up to Hoopa, Willow Creek, not out of the question to see a brief period of a mix or some snow to start off the day tomorrow, but mainly in the form of rain. All right, let's take a look at Siskiyou County here, and your neighborhood forecast is calling for temperatures in the 30s and 40s there, 44 degrees in Fort Jones, 42 degrees for Gazelle, but Mount Shasta City only a high of about 37 degrees for that daytime high. Let's take you out to Modoc County with 38 degrees in Fort Bidwell, 40 in Tule Lake, and looks like El Turris a high of about 39 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, we've got those temperatures in the 30s and 40s, only getting up to 32 degrees for Mineral, but 42 degrees in Paradise. Paradise, you could see some snow tomorrow morning and maybe even some light accumulation. There's a look at your Walgamoth, sponsored by Walgamoth Painting here, your Valley neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the low 50s, and there you can see the off and on rain here through Monday. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Chico, and it's going to stay wet off and on through St. Patrick's Day, then dry on Tuesday. And I've got you mostly cloudy on Wednesday, Thursday, but we could be looking at a chance for showers there as well. We take you up north, 45 for the city of Shasta Lake, 48 in Anderson, 50 for Red Bluff, and 42 degrees in Lakehead. And looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, Temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s for your Sunday, Monday, up to about 61 by next Tuesday and dry. Maybe some showers, otherwise partly to mostly cloudy skies on Wednesday, Thursday with highs right around 60, give or take. That's your evening update. Be sure to check in again tomorrow morning for the latest on that potential for snow in the valley. That'll be the latest forecast coming up at 6 a.m. and then live on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Until then, have a great night.
Save more on our huge selection of Nectar, Dream Cloud, Sierra Sleep, and Diamond Mattress. Furniture and Mattress 86, across from the Churn Creek Post Office on Merchant Street, Reading.